I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Ilia, maybe Islam. I think at 155, I start to really think Ilia has a very, very nice shot at winning that fight. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode here on Locked Door MMA. We're your hosts. I'm Brevin. This is my good buddy JP. And in today's video, we will be giving a recap of UFC 317, talking about what we think might be next for Ilia Topuria, your new lightweight champion, and then giving you a preview of not this weekend, but the following weekend's card when Derek Lewis faces a young prospect in Taliesin Teixeira. JP, overall, it was a great weekend of fights. International Fight Week went off with a lot of action, a lot of KOs, some scary ones as well.
No
Let's
kidding.
talk about it. What were some of your takeaways?
Um, I mean, right off the bat, I'm gonna go out and say it. I think it's the best card of the year. I really do. Much needed, much needed in my opinion. I think May, an all-time low for the UFC. I thought May was trash. The cards were cheeks, and then this card came out of nowhere. June's been great, bro. June just has been great. This card phenomenal. Um, yeah, decent card for us. 8-3. I haven't done the math. I haven't gone back and looked, but I'm pretty sure this card was if not the most profitable of the year for me, up there. We had a couple big ones. We had a big Topuria by KO, Van by decision parlay. Gorgeous. Had to sweat it. Oh, we'll get there. We'll talk about it. Yeah, dude, great card. Needed after that week prior with the snooze fest. I truly don't know what to say about Ilia. I mean, we'll break it down when we get there, but he's just different, man. Just different. I think he's the biggest star in the UFC right now. I really do.
Yeah, he's really got to be. Before we dive into it too much, the lock hit, bang.
Bang,
Your lock hit, my lock hit, and then the basic hit, which I think I've
bang.
been on a little tear with that as well. And we probably need to start keeping track of the basic, um, as well as the locks. But the juicer, I
The juicer is always a long shot, bro. The juicer is
I
always a
mean,
long
what
shot.
we've had what one hit, one big
I
hit.
think two.
No, that's
I think two
yeah.
of them.
Well, that's
Uh,
okay. That's the point of the juicer for sure. And real ones, no. I mean, we got a lot of hate this weekend, especially on YouTube. TikTok was showing some love, but for you guys that are part of the locked door community, I mean, let's set the record straight. We were still on a tear. 8-3 is not too shabby whatsoever. So people can hate all they want. We're still the best to do it in the world. I'm fine with 8-3, especially with two fights that I predicted going 1-1 into the third round. I'll live with that. And heck,
true.
I'll still pick Lima and I'll still pick Royval, even if those two fights were to happen again next weekend. But let's go ahead and talk about that main card, starting with Peyton Talbott and Felipe Lima. Went a little bit differently than we predicted it went. Good fight for Talbot, though.
Yeah. I kind of went back and watched it. This is the only fight on the card I couldn't watch. I wasn't home for most of it, but sure. I mean, improved takedown defense clearly. Um, I really don't know where to hold it. I'm torn in between Lima's an idiot. I'm torn seeing how he looked against Nemov, and then submits Nemov, and then can't take Peyton down. I just don't. I don't think it had anything to do with Peyton had world class takedown defense this time and all this. I think he learned a little bit from the Barcelos fight, but I mean, good win for him. I want to see him go out there and, I mean, everybody says he's a killer. Go out there and finish one of these guys. Go out there and finish Lima. And Lima, on the other hand, again, you're going to have the same type of performance when you come out your next fight. You're going to have to go dog walk somebody and starch him or submit him because that was just, I mean, good win for Talbot. Hopefully Frank Ocean gets a little confidence back and comes out with more music since his boyfriend won. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough one to watch, cheering for Lima. I mean, the takedowns were there. He'd get Talbot to the ground and then just lose position in the scrambles. Oftentimes accepting position on his back, which truly cost him round three. where he very easily could have won that fight. I mean, it was 1-1. Sure, the striking totals, they were what they were, but Lima was really having his way on the feet in the first round, but cost himself in round two and round three, just with those scrambles and how they went. I mean, he did shoot 15 takedowns. I thought that was a decent game plan until we got to round three, and you've noticed that all these takedowns attempts were landing you in a very negative position with Talbot on top of you raining down blows. Like JP had said, I don't know if the IQ really was there for Lima. He also said something in his corner about Talbot's power, like complaining about the power, so he didn't want to stand with him. But he was having, success on his feet. So didn't really understand that. And it was a different Lima than we saw against Nemov and that we saw against Miles Johns. I will say that. Um, and like you had said, I don't know if Talbot really improved all that much, but he certainly did enough to get the job done against a smaller Lima, who really did look like the much smaller opponent on Saturday. I didn't think it would be that big of a differential watching the fight, but he certainly looked a lot smaller.
I mean, when they weighed in, I was like, it don't look that big to me. And then Saturday night, yeah, when they're barefoot and they're both rehydrated and stuff, Saturday night, you can.
Yep, moving up the card, Beneil Dariush gets his first win in over 2 years against your boy, Easy Money. It wasn't so easy for him,
Not
huh?
so easy. Um, yeah, I'm good on either guy now. Really, I really am. I 1,000% feel like Moicano's, especially in the third round. Again, because you're talking about picking these fighters going 1-1 into the third. We're 1-1. I mean, Dariush got dropped at the end of the first. I'm like, all right, Moicano, settle in. Let's do something here. Third round did nothing. Literally nothing. IQ wasn't there. Beneil wasn't happy with his performance. I didn't really think it was that good. Sure, he can grapple. I mean, the defensive grappling was there, and then Moicano just shit the bed the third round. Just didn't look like he wanted to win. To me, it really didn't. Um, I heard rumblings that Beneil wanted to retire after this. That didn't end up happening. I know Moicano's opening his own gym, so I don't know. I out of everybody on this card, even the fat boys, I could care less to see these two fight again. I really could.
Yeah, I mean, you've been high on Moicano for a while, and candidly, I have been too. It just, after the Islam fight, it seemed like something just kind of was missing for him. I don't know if it was just like the drive after losing that fight or what. And honestly, I would have been interested to see these two fight when they were originally supposed to fight before Renata went out there and lost to Islam. It almost was like that was the deflator, in his confidence. I don't know how much work he truly put into his camp this time around because Beneil looked like the fresher fighter, and that's never good when he was on a 2-year layoff.
Mm.
So I was pretty disappointed in Moicano. Being a fan of Moicano, I'm glad I picked Dariush. Um, but yeah, like you said, after he got dropped in the first round, you could just kind of tell the changing of the momentum. Dariush really could take him down whenever he so choose, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I just can't. I don't know, man. I get you're tired and stuff, but like the difference to me is all these guys, if you fighting for a long time in the UFC, 3 rounders, 5 rounders, it doesn't matter. You're gonna get tired at some point. There's gonna be a fight where you gas worse than others. All these top level guys don't like go brain dead when they gas, right? Like they're actually still with it. They're actually still sprawling. They're some of these guys they have a dog shit takedown shot at him, and the guy just reaches down, grabs his legs, and they just kind of fall over. Or they don't sprawl, don't nothing, and then they go to their back and try and scoot. And it's like, bro, when you're tired, scooting off your ass is not the way to go. You have to do everything you can to not get down when you're tired, because then getting up's even harder. But I don't know. Good for Dariush.
Moving up, fight of the year. In my opinion. This is going to be very hard to beat. I mean, these guys threw, let's see, Royval threw 468 total strikes and Joshua Van threw 311. And mind you, there was zero takedowns. These guys just stood and traded the entire time, which was absolutely insane. And for those that want to talk your talk about me picking Royval, what are we talking about? The dude was an underdog first and foremost. Second of all, he fought a beautiful fight. I mean, this wasn't Joshua Van versus his last opponent when
Bruno
little
Silva.
Bulldog boy couldn't, yeah, where he couldn't even land a strike on Joshua Van. Okay, this was a fight of the year. And arguably, I think Royval was winning that fight until 8 seconds to go. He outlanded him in round two and outlanded Joshua Van in round three. I personally had him winning that fight until he got dropped, and that's exactly what happened. So I still stand on this pick, and I would pick him again. I like Brandon Royval, but to see Joshua Van go out there and do what he did, very impressed as well. You guys know I'm a big fan of the van. I just hopped off of it for this week.
Hey, you boys know. All right. Our community here, you guys know. I was on the van. I've been on the van. Some things have happened on the van. We can't comment or speculate. All right. Under advice of my lawyers. Can't can't say what happened. Allegedly, some things have happened on the van.
Go back 2 episodes, and he discloses all that information.
um, yeah, what a fight! Like Brevin said, fight of the year. The only one that I can think of this year that can contend with it is the Saudi Cup fight that we saw last week. Great fight there too.
Back
Um,
to back weeks.
I
Wow.
mean, holy shit! I was on my feet the whole time. I mean, I was drunker than a skunk. My wife's like, "What are you watching it that close to TV for?" I said, "Babe, shut up. I can't think right now. This fight's crazy." Okay, they're cracking each other. I think Van was landing harder. Um, yeah, everybody talking shit that Brevin picked Royval. Half of y'all don't even act, okay? Some of these people in our comments are acting like they were on Van the whole way. No, y'all weren't, bro. No, y'all were not. There were so many people in our comments on TikTok. Van can't win. That's quite literally what they said. He can't win. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, dude, good for Josh. 23 years old. Disgusting. Great boxing. I actually do think Royval had a great game plan. I loved his game plan. You coming out the gate, and he threw like 4 or 5 jabs at once, just standing in front of
Yeah.
Josh. Jab, 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 jab. I Josh clearly struggled with it at times because it's hard
Yeah.
with the way Josh parries really well. He's patient with his boxing, and he'll parry your jab, and then he'll hit you with like 3, 4 shots. One of them will be to the body, so it's tough. But Royval just kept throwing volume at him, so he'd parry the first one, and then Royval would hit him with a 1-2. Um, I do think Josh was landing harder throughout the fight in its entirety. I would have been very intrigued to see them go the distance. I would like to see those scorecards. I think it could have
Well,
gone either way.
they did, but you're saying without the drop there with
Yes.
8 seconds to
Yeah,
go. Yeah.
without him getting dropped, yeah. I would have liked to see what they scored that. I think it could have gone either way. I really do. Josh landed harder throughout the fight, but Royval was still landed too. And he was landing a lot, so but boom, 8 seconds left, dropped him. I had that Van by decision first legger on that parlay, so I was really happy to see that when he dropped him. But good for Josh, dude. 23 years old, taking on the champ next. Wow.
Yeah, phenomenal fight. The other thing too is from the Royval side, maybe mix in some grappling, maybe some takedowns, at least to get him thinking about it. Like, and they talked about on the broadcast booth the entire time. Like, Royval has extreme cardio. He is one of the best, gas tanks in this division. If you utilize wrestling and grappling, that's one way to drain the gas tank of Joshua Van. And it's like he can do that.
Mm.
Obviously, it's not his first choice. He felt like he had an advantage on the feet.
At least
Maybe,
mix it up.
I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking. So I think the zero takedown attempts out of Royval was maybe a little bit of a miss, but you're right. He had a good game plan. The knock on him at times was he didn't use his range all that well in some previous fights, and I think he did that wonderfully on Saturday with the multiple jabs, just keeping something in the face of Van, and he kept popping Van. I mean, his corner was telling him, "You got to move your head off the center line, dude. You got to move your head," because he just kept getting hit with jabs over and over. But yeah, great fight overall.
He doesn't, and Josh doesn't. Like we talk about head movement a lot. Josh really doesn't, but it's because he's good with that parry, dude. He'll parry your
Yeah.
fucking jab with his hands, and then boom, boom, boom. It's nasty.
Well, it also allows him to counter off of that really well too.
Yeah.
I mean, once you're already set up, you don't have to worry about your head movement. You kept it right in the middle the whole time. You can swing from every direction. Plus, you're not going to get caught with something that you don't see coming. You're just going to keep getting punched square in the face. But yeah, a hell of a fight. I can't wait to see what's in store. Honestly, for both guys, I like Brandon Royval's fights. I think there's a lot of intriguing guys in that division, and then obviously, I think Joshua Van's probably going to get that title shot against Pantoja. So
He said he might move
should
up,
be
right?
a good one.
Royval?
Royval,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that. He's got the frame for it.
Thought
You
I
know,
heard him say that somewhere, or maybe it was somebody saying that. I think he could. I
I
mean,
mean, how
he's
old is he at this point? Getting up
36,
there,
34.
30.
He's had a lot of
Curious
fights,
now.
though. A lot of fights with the same guys in that division.
He's 32.
32. Yeah,
So
I
still
would.
fairly young. I just feel like maybe it's, I don't know. I don't want to say it's too late to do that, but probably had the opportunity to do that earlier in his career. But now would probably be the time. I mean, you've got Pantoja. I mean, we're going to talk about him. Probably one of the GOATs in that division of all time. Like, get on out of there. You know what I'm
He's
saying?
lost to him twice already, and
Yeah.
Moreno.
Yeah. You need
Actually, I
that
think he
chance
beat
to.
Moreno once.
He did, but I think they're 1-1. He
Yeah.
beat Moreno once and then lost him.
So
Yeah. Craziness. All right. That takes us to Pantoja's fight. I mean, first and foremost, here's the other thing. A lot of you guys talking after the fights. Well, the people that were trying to talk before the fights, a lot of them were picking Kai Car France, hating on my Pantoja pick. All right. Um, Not sure how that one turned out for you. It certainly wasn't very good. Kai Car France really did nothing in that fight. I don't even know if he landed a punch, dude. Pantoja really just had his way from start to finish until he found the rear naked choke in round 3. Another dominant performance from a very dominant champion.
yeah, man. Um, yeah, and when we're talking our talk, saying you guys, we don't necessarily mean like everybody who's subscribing and stuff, the people who support us and shit. If you guys don't, go look at TikTok and go look at the comment section on like Brevin's main card picks or something, dude. People don't call somebody a clown because you'll get banned, but you can say a bunch of other crazy shit. Um, yeah, dog walked, dominated. All the above. Kaikara doing the haka, which is cool. I'm not trying to hate on his culture or anything like that. I think it is cool, but I don't know why there were so many people so high on Kaikara France. Oh, he's got power, or he's got takedown defense. Really? Is that takedown defense? What we watched Saturday night? I watched him get ragdolled. I watched Pantoja walk him down. I mean, that was nasty. That body lock that he had, bro. Both times he put that in. I'm like, oh, we're staying here. We're not moving. That thing was so tight. Um, he's ending. I loved Pantoja's striking. The way he would end his combos by stepping off and then he'd leg kick him. He'd like cut an angle and then end the combo with a deep leg kick right to the calf. I thought that was great. Um, the commentary. I've been waiting to say this for a while, Brevin. I don't know how you feel, bro. There's been a couple times now. I know people hate on DC and Rogan and stuff all the time. Like, no, I enjoy listening to DC sometimes. There's been a couple fights and like a couple cards now where I'm like, all right, I can kind of see it. They're kind of annoying. Because they were like, oh, Pantoja's like lackluster or he looks tired and shit. I was like, what the fuck are we talking about, bro? They came out for round 2 and Pantoja's standing there. Kai's mouth breathing, mouth wide open, and Pantoja's just standing there looking at him, not breathing hard, hands on his hips. I mean, like you said earlier, if you're not debating him being a GOAT, I know DJ's there too. We have to give respect to this dude. And I'll be the first to say it. You know this. I didn't like him, bro. I didn't like Pantoja. I always faded Pantoja, hated him, super biased against him. And then I think it was a Kai Asakura. Was that the kid? One of
Yeah.
these Japanese names. I don't know. Yeah. And then I was like, you know what? He is kind of nasty. He's very well rounded. I got to put more respect on him. I think he's a go to that division. It's not his fault that the division's kind of lackluster and he's just dog walking everybody. So, I mean, yeah, great for him. He fights Joshua Van next. It's going to be so terribly hard for me to pick, but yeah, GOAT status.
Here's a question for you. Do you find the broadcast team annoying during a fight, such as Brandon Royval and Joshua Van?
I wasn't listening to him as much.
It didn't catch your eye because they had shit to talk about. The only time that you find these guys annoying is when someone's getting absolutely dominated, like Kai Car France. Their job is to commentate the fight and honestly try to keep things kind of fair. Like you can't just hype up one guy and completely shit on the other guy. So when you've got nothing to talk about in Kai Car France, the Pantoja volume did slow down. It did. Whether he was gassed, whether he was tired, who knows? But it did slow down. That's the only thing they could talk about, maybe in favor of Kai Car France. Other than that, he did nothing. So, like, when you have a good fight and it's back and forth, I think they do a great job. But, like, it is a very tough position to be in. I feel like if you're sitting down on that broadcast booth and it's one guy's just getting dog walked, I feel like you have to start searching and reaching for things to kind of pull the Kai Car France fan base back into it a little bit. Like, that is their job to kind of play both sides. So,
If he's
I
getting dog
hear you.
walked, you say it. Dude's trash.
Well, yeah, but like put yourself in the shoes of Joe Rogan in DC because it's like, I mean, that's their whole job, because whether DC, does it the way he's doing it now or whether he does it in a way where he's more biased like he has been in the past towards some of these Dagestani fighters, he's going to catch heat for it, and so like that's a very tough job to have.
I just there's some times where I'm like, you guys just I don't know. And it happens more often than not with Joe. It just depends on like Joe seems to lock in on one thing. And then that one thing every time it happens, every fight on the card, he just boom, boom. I know people clown on him for leg kicks and stuff and the whole fucking people forget, man. That whole shit. But yeah, I don't know. Good win for him though.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so do you think Joshua Van gets the title fight next against Pantoja, right?
Yes, so I'm glad you brought that up. I would have forgot about it. I think Van and Pantoja is next. And if Pantoja wins that, I think he should move up and fight Marab. Everybody wants to shit on him because, oh, well, look who he's fighting, though. His division's trash. Is that his fault? Or you want him to lose to these guys? He's beating all of them. I don't care if they're trash. He's the champ. Tied DJ with most defenses. But why not? If he beats Josh, again, he's got another win. Give him a super fight. I just don't see how
So
we can keep trashing a champion who's winning and dog walk this guy.
yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's fair to necessarily discredit someone that's the champion of their division just because they won't leave that division. Like that's their division. They are the champion. If someone wants to take the belt, why should the champion have to forfeit the belt? Go take it from them. Get good enough, kid. It's like get better type of deal. So in that matchup, Pantoja versus Joshua Van, right now, I mean, are you taking Pantoja?
I don't I don't know. I don't know. Josh is my boy. I'm in the van, bro. I'm in the passenger seat. I've been in the passenger seat. I have not predicted the Joshua Van fight wrong. People are like, he lost before. Yep. And I picked the other guy. Um I think Pantoja beats him. I'm betting on Joshua Van. He's made me
That's
so
fair. I
much
can't
money.
blame you. Yeah. And that's kind of where, you're probably going to get good odds on that fight. I'd be interested to see how that fight plays out if Pantoja can get Josh down on the ground. I mean, we kind of know that's his flawed area, right? But people don't really get him there because he's got good takedown defense. But people were saying Kai Car France had good takedown defense, so we kind of saw how that ended up. I would be very interested to see as well. I think if Pantoja moves up and fights Marab, I think Marab kind of has his way, bro. I'm just saying.
Has his
Marab's a,
way.
I think Marab can take on Pantoja and do really well. I do.
Interesting. I'd
I
like to see
I'm
it.
very Yeah, I like Marab a lot. I mean, he's proven so much to me. I'm sure he's proven a lot to you. The Umar fight. I mean,
He fucking dives head first into a frozen lake, bro.
that's what I love about him. You just never know. He keeps you on your toes.
Oh shit. Oh shit. And he's bleeding, bro.
Oh shit.
I like that guy. He is
Um,
funny, man.
it is hilarious. All right, and then in our main event, we had Ilia Archie, Charles Oliveira. What were some of your thoughts there? Were you going crazy on that one?
Oh my god. If only two dweebs yapping on a YouTube show told everybody what was gonna happen. Oh wait. Um, I didn't go nuts. I was sitting there on the couch. I was with people. I was watching it, and then I just boom hits him with that right hand, folds him, and I just looked around, and the people I was with just looked at me, and I was like, "Oh, this dude's now slumped. 3 legends out cold, all 3 of them." And then people are like, "Well, they're not in their primes." There's something to say about every time somebody wins. Blah blah blah. Ilia's different, bro. He's the best boxer in the UFC, if not in UFC history. Said what I said, and I mean that. Everybody was saying, well, Charles is world class on the ground. There you go. What more are you looking for? Is that not proof that Ilia can wrestle? He can grapple? What more do you want? And people are like, I don't know what Charles was doing. He's walking forward, his hands down. That's what he always does.
That's what he does.
He
Yeah.
comes forward in every fight he has. Chandler clipped him. Somebody else clipped him. And then he rolls through it. Yeah, Gaethje clipped him. Poirier clipped him, I'm pretty sure. And then he recovers. He gets up because they don't want to follow him to the ground. And then he gets up. Ilia didn't have to follow him because he slumps him. He's that good, bro. He's nasty. And I got a hot take that people aren't going to like, and I think it's 1,000%. We all love, which, first of all, Dana hated the Patty coming into the octagon afterwards. I don't know why you would hate that. They just sold you another pay-per-view.
Yeah, Dana can suck it. I think he's wrong on that one. We've needed something like that for a long time. We haven't had that since the old days with Brock Lesnar walking into the octagon and shoving
Oh,
Daniel
yeah.
Cormier, and we never even got to see that fight. But that's what builds these mega fights, dude.
Oh,
Now I
yeah.
want to see it, you know? And what is Dana talking about? Oh, no, I wouldn't have allowed him in the octagon. That would have been a missed opportunity because this thing's going to go through the roof if they schedule that fight. I've heard some rumblings of a different fight maybe for Patty, and maybe we can talk about that after I let you finish your point.
I mean, this dweeb is promoting boxing. What
Yeah.
are we doing? He's promoting boxing. I was going to say something extremely out of pocket right there. He's letting John do whatever and took way too long. I would have stripped him a long time ago. Dude doesn't want to fight. He wants to get drunk and hit people with another car. Shocker, he does what he does. And then he says, oh, I didn't like that. That wouldn't happen. Bro, they just made a massive pay-per-view for you. Huge. Casuals who don't even watch UFC, who maybe didn't watch this pay-per-view, is going to see that. Oh, shit, he pushed Patty? Patty the fatty?
Patty da body.
You can't knock me out, lad. He's not knocking me out.
Then Ilya said, I'm going to put my balls on your forehead.
Put my balls on your forehead.
Oh, man.
And that segues perfectly into what I was going to say. I don't care. It's a hot topic, hot take. People are going to hate it. People are going to call me a casual, an idiot, whatever. I do not care. At this point, right now, Ilia Topuria in his career has surpassed the stardom of Conor. Said what I said. He's better. He'd slump Conor. He'd dog walk Conor. He's a bigger star than Conor ever was. It's just because Conor came first. And then all the shit outside the octagon, boxing, Floyd, all that shit. I think Ilia's above him. I really do. We're talking about the GOAT debate. I mean, the GOAT. I think that man is well on his way. If he wins another, which we'll get to whoever he's going to fight next, I think it should be Patty. If it's not Patty, I wouldn't mind seeing Gaethje fight him, but I don't really care. But if he wins another one, Islam wins that one, and those two fight each other, the winner of that, I think, is a GOAT. I really do. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair debate. I think as far as star power, in my personal opinion, he's not quite there yet. I do think he's getting there. I think he's on the right track. The amount of eyes that Connor had on him during every second of every UFC fight and everything that he did, even outside of the UFC. I mean, Connor's the reason why a lot of people currently are even watching the UFC, you know? And so, like, to have that impact on people, I don't think Ilya's quite there yet. Do I think he can get there? Hell yes. Do I think he's on his way? Hell yes. And all these things are helping him and helping that. The whole dropping the rose in the middle of the octagon. I mean, his whole aura, like the walkout, his walkout's starting to become
Oh
something
yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah.
Something freaking awesome, man. You got to tell everyone to shut up and turn up the TV volume so that you can watch that thing because it just gets you going. And that's the type of thing that Connor used to do with his walkout, with his persona, the interviews, all of that. Like Ilya's starting to come out of his shell a little bit as far as the verbal side of it. And I think he did a much better job in this buildup. However, he didn't hate Charles. He actually liked him. And so it was very hard for him to really buy into that role. I mean, I want to hear
Yeah.
him and Patty go back and forth. And that's exactly what they would do if that fight is to be booked. But with Charles, he's just a little bit more relaxed. They're hugging in the sauna. Like
Yeah, that's kind of
Connor
weird.
would be Connor would be talking mess, and, like, that's really what sells the pay-per-view, so I think once he starts doing those kinds of numbers, I'm right there with you, and he's well on his way, but, for me, he's not quite there yet, but like you said, I would like to see another fight. The Patty fight would be awesome. I don't think Gaethje gets that shot, but Gaethje's now kind of putting pressure on the UFC saying, "Hey, if I don't get a title shot, I'm thinking about retiring," and Dana already came out and said, if you're thinking about retiring, you might as well go ahead and just retire. Like Gaethje's done a lot for this organization, but I'm not going to be like handcuffed to something, or like threatened in a way. I do think Gaethje is deserving of the title shot,
Oh yeah.
but I don't know, dude. Like, I don't think anyone's going to be pissed if it is Patty and Ilya. Like,
I wouldn't
to
be.
get a title shot, you also have to have the buy-in from the current champion, right? And so maybe Gaethje had a missed opportunity of going out there and causing beef with Ilya. Like, DC and Chael Sonnen talk about it on Good Guy, Bad Guy all the time. Like, it's not just about your fighting skills. It's about your ability on the mic, your call outs, like going out there and promoting yourself outside of just your fighting ability. And I think Gaethje kind of missed out on that a little bit because right now Patty and Ilya have the beef between the two. But yeah, I'm super stoked for it. Now I did hear, and you kind of alluded to it, Dricus Du Plessis came out and said that he believes that Patty is going to fight Justin Gaethje on UFC 319, and that will be the co-main fight on that card, which I do think would be a phenomenal matchup between the two of them, and then the winner would get Ilya. But then does that just mean that Ilya is going to wait for the winner of that fight, or is Ilya going to have something like Armin between that time and then potentially move up and get Islam? I don't know. So that kind of muddies the water a little bit there.
Um yeah, I mean it's kind of like a log jam and we see that we see that in um what's the weight class? I think of the higher weight class, light heavyweight, right? Since Pereira might get the rematch, but in my eyes, I wouldn't mind seeing Patty Gaethje, Armin, Ilya, and then the winners go at it, or Gaethje, Ilya, Patty, Armin, and then the winners go at it. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I wouldn't be shocked if Ilya waits either for a winner. He just chills. I don't think Armin. He might be a little bit better in good graces with the UFC now that he made weight to back up, but
Yeah.
I don't think he was when he pulled out against Islam. I don't know. I'm excited though. Either way, I'd like to see any of them. Any of those four face off against each other in any way. I'd love to see it.
Well, I kind of agree with you. I think you're getting Ilya at lightweight for one more fight, you know.
Especially if he wins, yeah.
Which right. And so, well, I'm already assuming he's going to win. I mean, the dude is an absolute killer. I think you get him at lightweight for one more fight, and then he's going after Islam if Islam can get the job done. Now, here's the other thing. What if Islam moves up, loses to Jack? Then Islam's probably going to have to come back down,
Mm.
right? Which then could open up the door. But Ilya's already said if Islam loses to Jack, then he's going to have to wait in line and wait his turn.
That's one
So,
thing. That's one thing where I'm like, just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Like the champion really thinks he can say that, and the UFC would go, "Yeah, you heard what he said. Back of the line, pal." Bro, if Islam loses to JDM and Ilya has no opponent, the UFC would be so brain dead. Do not make that fight, regardless of Islam coming off a win or a loss. I do not care. If Ilya loses, it's a different story. Because if Islam wins, Ilia loses, then well, fuck. Now Ilia's got to get the belt again or win a couple more and then go up. But I think if Islam wins or loses, they can still make that fight. And some may argue that if he loses, it's better because then they do it at 155. So Islam's not worlds bigger. Ilia did look a little small in the octagon on Saturday.
He looked small, but he looked a lot bigger than he was.
But if they do it at 170, Islam's gonna be fucking huge. If I had to pick, I would truly like to see it at 155 the most.
Sure, I don't think you're catching Islam back at 155 unless he loses. And that's the thing. If you want it to be a mega fight, which I do, I want this fight right now. I think the fight, if they don't fight anyone else and they were to fight right now, that would
I'd be
be
happy.
the best scenario possible, right?
Yeah.
Because there's Islam who is pound for pound like number one, right? And there's no blemishes besides his early loss in his career. Um, I just wouldn't want to see that fight as much if he loses to Jack, and I'd be heavily disappointed. And I think if he did beat Jack, and Ilia was to say, "I'm going to fight Islam," then we can all of a sudden talk about, okay, is Ilia now of the star power of Conor McGregor? Because that fight would do numbers that you've never seen before. And if Ilia could become champ at 145, 155, and 170, now we're talking about uncharted territory. So
It's not close for
that
me
to
if
me
he
would
does
be
that.
awesome.
It's not close to me if he does that. For anything. Star power, GOAT status, nothing.
That's
It's
what I'm
him.
saying. That's what I'm saying. That would be the thing that pushes him over the top because it's uncharted. It's never been done. Like that would be his legacy, right? Because right now he's living in Connor's legacy. Connor's already been champ. He's already done these things, right?
Yeah, a couple guys have been champion.
Exactly. It's at this point it's kind of like not anything crazy for Ilya to go chase Islam.
I mean, I still think it's hard to do. I think the guys who do it are all Hall of Famers. Like, very hard to do.
Right. But for him to go chase Islam, I think it would just take him to a whole nother realm that we've never seen before.
Who are you taking? If the matchup gets announced tomorrow, hypothetically, Islam versus Ilya, who you taking?
At 170, mm,
Damn, he's got to think. It's hard, bro. It's a hard
it's
pick.
that's what it does to me. I would have to think about it. Um, I mean, Islam to me is an amazing guy. Here's the thing though. We've seen Islam get knocked out. Yeah, he's an
On
amazing guy.
online dating? What the hell was
Yeah, yeah.
that?
I think he's a brother. He's an amazing guy.
You amazing guy, bro.
Um, but we've seen him get knocked out, you know?
And not in a while, but yes, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, not in a while, but he has been knocked out. Ilya's never been knocked out.
He's
Ilya's
been
never been he's been
dropped
close,
pretty
but he
bad a couple
survived.
times, but yeah, he has survived.
Ilya's never been wrestled, dominated, ragdolled. I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns, right? And so I think that's what makes that fight so intriguing. And, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Ilya, maybe Islam. I think at 155, I start to really think Ilya has a very, very nice shot at winning that fight. At 170, Islam's already big.
That's what I'm
He's big for
saying.
any of these
At
divisions,
170, he's
you
gonna
know?
be fucking huge.
I agree, but Ilya at 170 will have even more power in his hands, which is scary to think about.
I mean, I think either guy has the power to drop one another. To me, it comes down to if Ilya can the entire time. Because I'm not gonna lie, at first glance, at first thought, I think Ilya and Islam they did fight. I think there's a good chance it goes to this. I really do. Um, but to me, it's just how Ilya defends for 5 rounds with the takedowns. Is he gonna get ragdolled? Is he gonna get controlled at all? You know. But I'd love to see it. I hope both of
Uh,
them win and we can do it because that's right now that is the number one thing the UFC can do.
Yep. I mean, they already dropped the ball on the Tom and John Jones fiasco.
I mean, the
So,
boy should have been stripped a long time ago. That shit was pathetic.
and I know, but at the same time, what were they waiting for? You know? I
Well,
mean, I think if they
apparently they gave it to him. What he was asking for, apparently they gave it to him, and then he was like, "Ah, never mind."
I don't know. There's like two sides to that story. I hear one thing, I hear another. I think they should have had that fight a little bit sooner and they should have been very vocal about what they were doing. That's the thing that I'm disappointed with. The UFC was saying nothing during this whole time. Dana's keeping everything hush hush. And even John was saying like, the UFC knows what they're doing. Like they know what's going on. They're just not saying anything. And like that is true. I mean, nobody can deny that. The UFC came out and said zilch about that fight and the potential matchup, and so that's why there's all the questions. But yes, I agree. That would be the thing to do. That would be the fight to make. Ilia and Islam. I hope to see it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pop off on any of that. I could say so much shit about Johnny
Yeah,
Boy.
but at the same time, it's Tom. I don't think Tom did a great job. I don't think Tom
For
did it. He
what?
was only calling for John to get stripped a
Stripped or
month
fight
ago.
him? Yeah, he was waiting. He said strip him or have him fight me.
A month. A month ago.
What do you mean?
That's he only came out and said that like a month ago.
Oh well, yeah, but because he was like, fight me this whole time. He's fight me. I don't know what else Tom could have done, but
I think he could have been a lot more vocal from the get-go of fight me or strip him, fight me or strip him, maybe poke the bear a little bit. Say something about John's past, something. He could have been more vocal. And then he was just very lackadaisical. I don't know.
I
I don't think
I oh man, I think hearing from a bunch of different sources that how much money he wanted, which was like the 30 mark. And then the UFC were like, okay, we'll see what we can do. And then hearing a bunch of sources that they said, hey, we gave it to him. And then he said, okay. And Dana's like, we had that fight made. We had that fight made. Did you? But if they offered it to him and then he backed out, I think John's a rat. John's a rat, has been a rat, always been a rat. There's multiple
he's
sides in
never
the
backed
story.
out of a fight though. He
I mean,
hasn't.
sure, yeah, never has. I mean, his wife's telling him don't do it, and he still does it. So, I mean, it is what it is. Is what it is. I mean, dude's a fucking rat. Dude's hitting people with the car. All right,
But
I'm
once he
living my
commits, he
best life.
commits.
I don't care if he's never backed out of a fight. You're a heavyweight champ of the world. You've been the heavyweight champ for how long? You have an interim champ right there. This is any other weight class, any other person. The UFC says fight him or we're stripping you. That's it. None of this back and forth bullshit. I
Why? That's what I'm saying though. It's not John's fault. It's not Tom's fault. Is it not the UFC's fault?
I think it's 1,000% John's fault. 1,000%. I think,
For what? They could have stripped him 6 months ago.
yeah, I think it's
No one would
both.
ask questions.
But I think John, you're the champ. Fight the interim champ or leave. Now. And then the UFC didn't strip and took this long. Yeah, I think it's both of theirs. I don't think. I mean, Tom could have talked more shit, hyped it up more, but I think that fight was hyped up enough. Like
Yeah,
everybody,
it was hyped up, but I think there has to be that external pressure of like the interim champ saying, "I am here. I am what ready to fight." Like he needs to fight or be stripped. And that didn't happen until a month ago. And then we saw like 2 weeks after Tom said that, John retired. And I think that could have just happened so much sooner and we never would have been dragged on. And I think the UFC's to blame.
I'd say the UFC, yeah, UFC and John. I personally don't think Tom's. I mean, he could have said it earlier, strip him, but I know he was saying the whole time, just I'm ready to fight. I'm just waiting to fight. But who knows? Maybe we're missing that guys because he's a nice guy. Like you said, Ilya and Charles were being nice guys. Maybe we're missing that one dude who was like Connor.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Farts in
there's just
somebody's face as he walks by and shit.
it's the fight game. Like bring back, Ken Shamrock, Tito Ortiz, some of these like legendary rivalries,
Not Tito. Tito's
Dude,
Tito's dumb.
the tr- the trash talk in those fights phenomenal.
Tito is stupid, bro. Genuinely, dude. I've never let you down until now. What? Tito, what are you saying?
Yeah, I agree though. We need a little bit more back and forth. We need some meanness. This is the fight game at the end of the day. I don't know why everyone's got to be so nice to each other. Um clearly, I mean, the people in my comment section should be fighting in the UFC because they're a little bit more mean than our current champions of the world. So,
They're a bunch of dweebs. No username, no photo, nothing. Fucking crap. They can
all
catch
right,
these hands at Trader Joe's, okay? You're fighting
yeah, that's
Delgado and then a bunch of commenters.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, guys. I'll be at your local Trader Joe's. Just keep an eye out for me. Moving on to 2 weeks from now, we got a little break for the 4th of July, but then the weekend after, we have some big dudes going at it.
Big what?
Okay, big dudes. Are they not?
We got some big nudes going at it today.
Yeah, honestly, with Derek Lewis taking off his shorts every other interview,
You know what? You're right.
Derek Lewis will be fighting Taliesin Teixeira, who's an absolute animal. What are your early thoughts on how that fight will go?
Um, how old is this man? 40. Almost 41. I don't know. We touched on it a little bit before we started filming, but yeah, Derek, he was never the fastest guy, but he had his moments. He'd explode. You know, he'd clip people. Always had power. He's a heavyweight. Stalker. Good boxer. Talison's going to be bigger than him. He's going to be able to body with him too. Going to have a range advantage. I don't know. I just, unless Taliesin does what we've seen out of the heavyweights this year and just shits the bed, I early lean. I'm going to.
Can't say I disagree. To me, Derek Lewis looked a little labored and slow in his last fight, and then lucky for him, his opponent gassed by round two, where he was able to find the knockout. I just think Teixeira's too young, too skilled, and he's just too big for Derek Lewis to do what Derek Lewis needs to do in order to find a victory. The other thing too, in his last fight, Derek came out and like tried to go for some takedowns. Like, he's just doing some weird stuff at this point in his career. Like, that is not your game, brother. Um, he's a funny man. He's a very interesting guy, taking off his shorts,
I
saying his
mean, I hope
balls
he
are hot.
wins. I hope he wins.
Admit, admitted to cheating a few times, which all these guys do at certain points in their career. But Teixeira, he's a kickboxer. He's 6'7", so he is very, very big, even for the heavyweight division. Longer reach, and he does something that a lot of heavyweights don't do, and literally just aren't physically capable of doing. Is he throws left high kicks. He throws a lot of left high kicks to the head. And I think that's easily going to take away the power from Derek Lewis. You're going to have to block him or you're getting knocked out. And once you're blocking him, your arms go as well. So I think it's going to be a tough matchup for him.
I think they need to get Tom Aspinall a fucking fight.
Tom doesn't want to fight, dude. He's ducking John
Oh
Jones. That's
my
all I got to say.
god. I'm gonna go nuts. I'm gonna have an aneurysm.
You might. You might.
The bum.
Um,
Keep hitting people with your car, pal.
yeah. Well, we don't got to worry about that.
Hey, we could do a whole. Call me the MMA Guru 2.0. I'll do a bunch of videos of John Jones content.
Yeah, true. John will beat you up in public. Um, anything else? Yeah, I was gonna sue him. Anything else that you wanted to cover before we wrap up this video?
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, it happened. I'm heartbroken. I'm gonna have to pick between two of my favorite fighters in the UFC. Diego Lopez and John Silva are fighting each other.
Wow.
I'm borderline about to cry. Two of my favorite fighters in the UFC, both of them we've watched from the start, and we enjoy watching both of them. I know Diego just lost to Volk. Cry about it. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's gonna be a tough pick.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how you feeling about that matchup? Maybe we'll save that
Yeah.
for when it happens because you guys better subscribe and tune in to that video because I think JP literally might be in tears, crying, and that's something he does quite often. So I'll be
Okay.
excited for it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just look at the blanket back there on his couch. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a tough night for JP either way.
Fly Eagles fly, baby.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Start cheering for the Eagles. Blah 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 blah.
That's funny.
Tush push. You would like the tush push.
My balls was hot.
Derek Lewis does the tush push. Ladies and gentlemen, if you made it this far in the video, make sure to subscribe. We appreciate you here. Welcome to the community. We have gotten quite a few new subscribers since the last time we spoke to y'all, so we appreciate that. As always, leave a comment with anything that you guys want covered in a future video, any predictions that you may have on the fights that we covered, and thoughts on the amazing International Fight Week card that we just witnessed as well. We would appreciate it. JP, I
Yeah,
hope you have a good 4th of July, my man. Enjoy it with the fam. Light off some sparklers or whatever you're into.
ripping them off, in the backyard. Just we'll see.
Put a bottle rocket where the sun don't shine, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, man. International Fight Week, Fight of the Year, Card of the Year. What a week. What a week. Unfortunately, got no fights this weekend. Is what it is, like Brevin said. Have a good 4th of July. You got nothing to say. Drop a W in the comment. Hit that like button. It goes a long way. It truly does. Help you boys out with that algorithm. Road to 500, Brevin. We're almost there, bro.
That's right. We're getting close.
We are almost there. Everyone, have a great 4th of July. We will see y'all next weekend with a decent fight in that card. It's not too bad. Okay? We got something to look forward to. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, it was a pleasure. Bingo, bango, baby. Peace.